So what happened after the Montana meeting? I did meet with Senator Tester's aide, Simon Kuhn, and even though it was a few weeks after attorney Sean Raven and I had submitted the IG investigation, which I'll go over in depth on another video, he had not seen the IG materials yet. This was a request for the IG to investigate these exports that I had found and shown to Senator Tester's office. Senator Tester at the time was the chairman on the Senate Committee of the Veterans Affairs. So, what better chance to have than to speak in Montana and be able to connect with him? At the very same time that we had submitted the materials to be investigated about Panama. And the GAO report had just come out, and in the GAO report on page 11, which is also posted on my website, it says there that there is no difference in the dioxin between the commercial and the tactical version of 2,4,5-T. We do know from the exports from 1958 to 1977, December of 1977, almost every month we received 2,4-D and 2,4,5-T and millions of other pounds of herbicides that were undetermined to us on what it was. We also know that Aberdeen came down and investigated and found that the canal zone was more contaminated than the United States bases in 1976. I spoke at length with Simon Kuhn about my book, about my research, about my findings for Panama, and about the GAO report being that there is no difference in the toxicity of the commercial versus the tactical version, and that we can prove that millions of pounds of this stuff was shipped, stored, and used. And also I showed him the letter that Dr. Wayne Dornchuk had written in support of my husband and my findings that anyone stationed in the canal zone could have been exposed to dioxin. Because it was unknown amounts of dioxin made in every batch of 2,4,5-T, which I will go over all the evidence in other videos. So what became of all of that, the committee did write to the Secretary of the Veterans Affairs and also to the Acting Secretary of Defense, Honorable Patrick Shanahan. And I'm going to read this because some of you I know are listening to this rather than watching it. They said this was from the United States Senate, February 1st of 2019, to Secretary Wilkie and Acting Secretary Shanahan from Senator Tester, who was the chairman of the Senate committee. I tried to go to the top for Panama. He says, I write today concerning the Government Accountability Office's GAO recent report titled Agent Orange, Actions Needed to Improve Accuracy and Communication of Information on Testing and Storage Locations. The report includes 6 recommendations to improve collaboration between the Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, and the Department of Defense, the DoD, so that veterans who are entitled to disability compensation and health care services as a result of their exposure to Agent Orange are afforded such benefits. It is clear that VA and DoD must work closely to ensure that Agent Orange testing, transportation, and storage information is complete, accurate, and available to any veterans who may have been exposed. Such an effort must include a governance structure so that individuals are held accountable for the success of this collaboration. As such, we request that you identify the individuals you have tasked with the specific responsibility for carrying out the recommendations included in the GAO report, as well as the timeline under which your departments expect to be in compliance with these recommendations. If you intend to reject any of these recommendations, please provide justification for that decision along with how your departments intend to mitigate the effect of not executing GAO's recommendation. During the course of the Vietnam War, millions of gallons of Agent Orange were transported between the United States and Southeast Asia, often making port before reaching their final destination. Agent Orange was also tested outside of Vietnam. This means that service members were exposed to its harmful effects in more areas than originally contemplated. In its report, GAO found significant deficiencies in DoD's list of herbicide testing and storage locations outside of Vietnam. Therefore, we encourage DoD and VA to work together to establish a full, accurate directory of locations where Agent Orange was tested and stored outside of Vietnam, with clear criteria for inclusion in this directory and a process to update its contents when new information becomes available, so that all affected veterans get access to the benefits and health care services they deserve. In that same vein, it is important that this more updated directory be available on VA's website because both GAO and a VA internal report in 2013 highlight the failure to keep VA's website updated and the most up-to-date accounting of locations where service members were likely exposed to Agent Orange. GAO also noted that of the 158 international shipments of Agent Orange during and after the Vietnam War, they are unable to locate logbooks records for 6 ships. DoD and VA must definitely prove the disposition of all unused Agent Orange. Veterans stationed in Korea, Thailand, Guam, Panama, and even the United States contact Congress every day with concerns that they were exposed to Agent Orange during their service. DoD and VA cannot accurately determine their eligibility for benefits with incomplete information. We urge the departments to undertake an analysis of the disposition of all Agent Orange shipped during and after the war so that all veterans can be accurately informed of their exposure status. While DoD and VA are implementing GAO's recommendations, it is essential that there is robust communication plan in place to ensure veterans potentially exposed have the information they need to assess earned health care and benefits. Too often we hear from veterans who are unaware of the benefits available to them for injuries and conditions related to decades-old service. It is the responsibility of VA to reach out to these veterans and inform them of any change in their exposure status and educate them on what benefits and health care services they might be entitled to as a result of Agent Orange exposure. Finally, we are concerned about VA's comments in response to the GAO report regarding commercial herbicides. If commercial herbicides used by DoD to manage vegetation on military installations contain some of the same toxic chemicals found in tactical herbicides, then it stands to reason that appropriate research needs to be done on those herbicides as they represent potential pathways for exposure. We are deeply troubled by the lack of information available from DoD and VA on the potential health risks associated with the commercial herbicides DoD employed alongside tactical herbicides, and request the departments immediately convene a working group of federal and non-federal experts such as the national academics to review the commercial herbicides used and make recommendations on next steps. I am looking forward to working with the DoD, VA, Herbicide Orange Working Group to resolve these recommendations and ensure that all necessary steps are being taken to assist our nation's veterans afflicted by exposure-related injuries. Veterans who served during the Vietnam era have waited long enough and deserve transparency and honesty from DoD and VA in regards to where Agent Orange was tested and stored outside of Vietnam. We look forward to continued updates regarding VA and DoD's progress towards completing GAO's recommendations. Sincerely, John Tester, Jerry Moran, Tammy Baldwin, Mazi K. Hirono, Kristen Sinema, and Richard Blumenthal. The Department of Defense responded to Senator Tester's letter on April 1st, 2019, and said, "Dear Senator Tester, thank you for your February 1st, 2019 letter to Acting Secretary of Defense Shanahan in reference to the Government Accountability Office GAO report, Agent Orange, actions needed to improve accuracy and communication of information on testing and storage locations. I am responding on the Acting Secretary's behalf. The Department of Defense, DoD, concurred with the recommendations made in the GAO report and is working closely with the Department of Veterans Affairs to address them. Specifically, the DoD is in process of assigning a department lead for determining the list of locations where Agent Orange was tested and stored, and developing a process to update the list. DoD is actively collaborating with the VA to develop a comprehensive communication strategy to ensure our veterans receive timely and accurate information. We anticipate that all recommendations will be completed by the conclusion of fiscal year 2019. With regards to request that DoD and VA undertake an analysis of the disposition of all herbicide orange shipped during and after the Vietnam War, the DoD will meet with the GAO to determine the source of all shipping records identified in the report and discuss other potential sources of information that may be reviewed. You also requested that the DoD and VA convene a working group of subject matter experts to assess the health risks of commercial herbicides that were used by the DoD to manage vegetation on military installations. It has long been the DoD's policy to use only herbicides that are in compliance with the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act of 1947 as amended, and that are applied by trained applicators following product label directions. The DoD and VA will continue to work closely together with the goal of providing timely and accurate information to our veterans in the most transparent manner possible. An identical letter has been sent to the other signatories of your letter. Sincerely, Ellen M. Lord. The interesting part about the DoD's response to Congress is they're saying that they're going to look for a lead person to put together all this information when all this information was to be put together prior. In 2012, the VA paid $600,000 to Dr. Alvin Young to put together all the Agent Orange information into one place, and I found many documents that were not in his records, and he should be the person that has all this information since he was paid handsomely by the VA. Well, I had high hopes that Panama would have been on that list. After all, I have given the VA Secretary, the President of the United States, the committees, both in the House, the Senate, and the IG, the exports from 1958 to 1977 proving that dioxin was in Panama with us, as well as Dr. Dwayne Dornchuk has written his opinion on my findings that anywhere that this stuff was used for vegetation, we were contaminated. did by writing a letter back to the Congress saying that they would not have used anything that wasn't approved by FIFRA from the DoD is really interesting because the FIFRA Act of 1947 specifically states that it does not apply to Panama or to the U.S. territories. So we'll go over all those details in further videos. So I hope you tune in to what's going on next. But I do hope that all of you will join the Military Veterans Advocacy. This is really important. We're finally on a national stage. We're going to get attention. We have won a couple of cases for Panama veterans individually. I've always been trying to connect Panama as a place that it was used, and I know it was, and I know it's the same. There's no difference between the commercial and tactical, absolutely not. I stand behind my research 100%. It's their documents, it's not something I made up. So I hope you tune in for more shows and enjoy your day. Thanks a lot for listening.